Hi everyone, welcome. So in this video, I want to share and talk about um, something called cognitive behavioral therapy. So it's something that I've learned in therapy, and I also researched about it a couple of times. And it's a process where it helps you figure out your behavior based of the thought that you're having, right? Um, I can put that clearly in on a whiteboard so you guys can understand. Okay. So here's like a explanation of what I'm talking about. So cognitive behavior therapy is first you're having a thought right here. You're having a thought. What we think affects how we feel and act, right? So from that thought, you're having an emotion, right? And what we feel actually affects how we think and act. And then from the emotion, there's the behavior. And this really changed my life knowing it. When I was in therapy, I was introduced by my therapist, and she took me through that process, and I didn't know really how that was going to feel like because it was my first time doing it. And it completely changed the way I view like myself, the way that I'm interacting with my emotions, my behaviors, and kind of being curious about like what's happening in there. So, for example, one of the thoughts that I would be having is, mm, no one likes to talk or socialize with me. That was something that was like back then, it was very prominent for me, and it was very like daunting, and it really impacted my relationships, impacted the way that I see myself, and my anxiety would spike up like real high. Okay. So that was like my thought back then. And then the emotion I'm having because of that thought, worry, anxiety, there could be like multiple worry, anxiety, um, fear. Yeah. So these are like the most um, common ones that usually come up. And then in the result of that is my behavior. My behavior would be, so when I'm having that thought of no one likes to talk or socialize with me, or no one likes me, or I'll be bullied, or whatever, it comes even connected to a belief that I have deep down. So then I would worry, feel anxious, feel scared. My behavior is isolation, push people away, not believe in people's good intentions, uh, sabotage my relationships, um, depressed. Oh, not really depressed, then it's not a behavior. Could be, but I think it's not really something that I would feel. So this is what really happens, right? And then because of all of that, what I needed is not to change the behavior, not to change the emotion, but the thought. So this is where all the mindset work is, right? That's why mindset is everything. Obviously, with feeling your emotions, healing, getting, with trauma that you've been having, as much as mindset is important, so is the physical body and your health, perhaps also understanding your nervous system, um, which is tied to healing the inner child, right? So it's the mindset, but it's also this work that is also important to understand the physical body, to heal the nervous system, what you've been having and suppressing in the past. I remember when I started doing mindset work, I wasn't really familiar so much, or I wasn't even sure if, I'll just stop sharing. I didn't know what that felt like for me because I was unaware, first of all. I wasn't really very mindful of what it is that I'm telling myself. I was looking at people outside of me and wanting them to shift their mindset and helping them get through that. And then in my own head, I would be having different thoughts about myself, different thoughts about um, what my future would look like. And the mindset around that was life is hard. Life is hard, people is hard. And because there was like a lot of moving and switching to places, this is the thing that made it harder. And then, so with that mindset work, but also healing is you would find the balance and you would find the middle point between both of them. Because when we cannot really look at our thoughts, look at the behaviors that are producing from from that thought, it's never going to stop really, no matter how much work you do on yourself. If we don't master the mind, if we don't master what we say to ourselves, if we don't master um, being silent with ourselves for a bit to see what is going on actually. Because sometimes we'd be having anxious behaviors, or maybe we're lashing out to someone, and then we ask ourselves, like, why did I do that? Or what's the result of that? Without really knowing that what the first thought was. So the first thought could be like, oh, this person lied to me. I think they did. And would be sometimes assuming, which not really in the most cases, but sometimes it would be like an intuitive feeling of, I do feel right now that this person is really hiding up my nervous system. And mind you, it's not looking at the person or looking for faults in the other person and what their behavior is, but how you actually took it on and made it mean something. Because when you make it mean something, this is when you personalize it. This is when you take it in and you begin to associate it with yourself, with your sense of self, with your identity. But when you have the awareness of what's going on, and whenever someone is reacting a certain way, you understand consciously and on a conscious level that this person did that because of their own things, and I don't have to really be in the presence of that, or I don't have to be in the presence where I am consuming that. I don't have to be present with what's going on, if that makes sense. So it's the it's always nice to go back to the basics of what has caused me to behave this way, rather than why am I behaving this way? Why did I do that? I shouldn't have, right? And so instead of saying why and questioning ourselves with that, I actually have a note, if I can find it, of something I wrote down. So I was listening to this audiobook by Jim Quick, and he says mindset is made up of belief, assumptions and attitudes we hold about ourselves and the world. Simple as that. If we don't master the mind, we're always going to have assumptions and we would believe those assumptions and those beliefs that we're having. So, those beliefs that come up it actually starts from our childhood. Where it resulted in those behaviors is because of patterns that we've been conditioned into. The family, the household that we've been, grew up in, society, norms, what someone said about you. This has an impact on every single thing if we don't pay attention to the inner critic and what we tell ourselves. What this work is to collaborate and invite compassion. There were times when I just used to hate myself completely. I was a very devastated state where I couldn't see a way out of it. Like I couldn't understand why I was behaving certain ways. I didn't understand why I was pushing healthy relationships away. I didn't understand why good people would come to my life, but I would question that. I would question the goodness of it. I would just say, I can't believe this person is good. I don't think they're good. And I would make up a story in my mind to convince myself to stay away or to make this person wrong so that I don't really have to risk being in that relationship or in that connection or with that person. It just made it easier for me. And then years down the road, I then come to this point where almost feeling like, gosh, like I shouldn't have pushed that person away. I shouldn't have pushed those people away. They were actually uplifting me, but I didn't really see it back then because the society, not the society, the mindset and belief I had, the world I was in was fear, full of fear, doubt, questioning a lot, not having trust, not believing people, and not trusting myself to come out as an authentic being, to be truthful about what's going on. And because these are some of the common patterns of people pleasing, but back then I didn't know it was a thing. I would just be like, this is how life is. This is how I'm gonna live my life. I don't think I'm gonna ever connect to people. I don't think I will ever find something that fits for me, a career, a job. I will never find people that resonate with me. And when I started to talk about my struggles, when I started to talk about, vocally about what's going on, expanding myself and stretching myself to come out of that pattern where I used to be stuck at, which is the people pleasing, no boundaries, hating myself, criticizing myself, judging myself, waking up every single day feeling like I'm not doing enough. And this is something most of us feel. Most of us as women feel. Not feeling good enough, not feeling like you are yourself, feeling shame and guilt, guilty of taking a rest day, taking a day off, guilty of saying that you don't want to hang out or you don't want to party today because you have other priorities and your priority is to, for example, rest and, have a tea by yourself or read a book and enjoy your company. But then you'd feel like you have to push on yourself so that you would have to please others. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in that relationship or you wouldn't be in that you wouldn't be then included, so to say. So you can reflect on this yourself. This is a very good reminder for you that the more that you're honest with yourself and about what's going on, the more you are connecting with what really feels aligned with your vision and values, to stop questioning, to stop doubting, to start asking questions. How often do we do that? Are there times when you wanted to question, but you were like, no, it's a stupid question. I feel like I know all the answers. But we are so scared to ask questions because that's where it gets real. You have all the answers. I believe that every one of us have answers within them, but they're just too afraid to look. I was one of them. Sometimes I do question, and the first thing I that comes up is, well, I don't know. But then I ask myself, then who knows? If I don't know what's going on, if I don't know how to find resources, if I don't know what's going on, if I had an illness or if I had I was burnt out from something, if I really don't know the cause of that, how am I going to help myself move forward in life? And this is just a general, I guess, a general topic, but it does impact every single part in your life. Um, I had a lot of rejections, a lot of jobs I applied to, it's not working, it's not working. A lot of times, I just was in lost. I remember just walking down this forest, this trail that's nearby my house, and I would like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'd feel completely lost, isolated, disconnected, nothing to look forward to, no motivation, absolutely lost, nobody there. Even if they were, I couldn't even be with them because it was just too overwhelming for me. And I felt like the safest way for me to go about my day is to be by myself, which is sometimes a great thing. And I learned to be an observant of what's happening, of what's going on, instead of an experiencer of some sort. I'm a person who don't want to be included in everything, but I want to be included by being an observer. So when I'm observing something, that's when I feel like I'm included, I'm listening through, I'm reading the room, I'm safe here. And if I feel like I want to jump in the water, I want to test it, I want to experience it within myself, I would definitely do that. I would then do that when I feel safe so. But if it's something that's triggering me and there's something internally that's calling me, hey, Sarah, hey, this is not safe for you right now. This is not good for you right now. I think I'd rather have you to step back a little bit and just be just present for a moment. And if there's at any moment you want to dive into whatever is going on, if it was a social interaction, if it was taking a lead on something, if I feel good and I'm safe and my nervous system is regulated in that space, I would definitely do. But if not, I'm not going to push and pressurize myself to do something beyond what I'm required or what I feel called to do. So there's a difference between that and comfort zone. Yes, I did have anxiety. Yes, I experienced anxious moment. It just never goes away. We're humans and we feel every emotion in its spectrum, regardless of us healing, not healing. If you're in a spiritual path, doesn't matter. Um, what matters is that you having that openness to experience whatever that comes through you. So not judging it, not labeling it, not saying whether I should do something else. Whatever that comes to you, whatever that you're meant to experience, you should be with it and never run away from it because it came to you for your own experience and for you to learn something. I'm not even sure what to call this topic when I post this or when I just put it on live, but I guess it's just what is coming through is just like the power of awareness and being integral with what it is. Nobody is perfect. We all lie at some point. We do lie to ourselves more than we lie to anybody else. So it's coming back to that internal peace within us, that that vibrant energy within us that we don't really question because it's in its essence in us, and it's the power of trusting that, the power of trusting that connection that's beyond our ego, that's beyond the me, my, I, mine. And coming down to that is when you can make a choice, when you can thrive, when you are satisfied with all that you are. Don't have to try and be somebody else, don't have to risk being someone else. And then you'd end up feeling like you're caught in something that you're not, or caught being someone you're not. I would not change a thing about my past ever. Have I not experienced all of that, I wouldn't be here. And everyone has a voice to share. Everyone has a gift to offer. Everyone has capacity to receive amazing things. Everyone has potential, passion, love, um, joy in them that so many people are ready to see and feel that. And the power of that is to regulate, to ask yourself what it feels like to be just fearless and not have myself limited to one certain area. And that you're not meant to be in a box. You're not meant to be in a bottle, or you're not meant to be in a contained room, but you're meant to be in a room of full potential, in a room of um, connection, creativity, inspiration, room of love, and room of limitless opportunities for you to experience. And believe that whatever the vision that you're having is planted there for a reason, and it's meant to be there regardless of the challenges that come with it. Because everything, every new thing you go into is a challenge, is a pain. Working out is a pain. Going for a job you don't like is a pain. Writing is a pain. So in everything you do, there's an emotion attached to it. And then there's a behavior that you feel. I love writing. Do I feel like writing every day? No. But I write because that's my ultimate expression of who I am. I write because that's how I talk. That's how I connect. That's how I communicate. That's how I feel grounded in who I am. That's how I share, inspire, and motivate. That's how I spread my gift. So hold on to whatever it is that you're gifted with and try to look for opportunities to expand it. Because I'm sure if you're listening to this, you have so many skills to offer, that you have so much things that you can expand, and it multiplies in different ways. But it's having that trust and belief and confidence, because that confidence wouldn't come if you don't try. It wouldn't just knock on your door and ask you to follow it. It's there when you try something new and when you're like, hit the ground running, when you're like, I don't have to think about it. I'm just good at it. I'm just confident at it. Just like myself with writing, I know that I'm a good writer. I know that I write good. I know that my words are healing. I know that whenever I write or share something, there is a healing aspect to it. There is something that you would get from anything I talk about is because I'm intentional in what I say. I don't say it to ramble or by any means um to get you to convince you anyways. To convince you to believe something other than what you believe already. But I feel like I'm here sometimes on this earth, or my purpose is to change how you feel about yourself and how you feel about the world. Not to convince you, but to introduce a new idea of living, to introduce a new idea of what's healing like, what's connection like, what's losing parts of yourself to actually remember who you already were, who you already are. And a part of that is actually a big responsibility. And I talked about that once in a reel. It's a huge responsibility to be on a platform and to share something so vulnerable. And you're expecting people to cheer you on, but that's really not the beauty of it. Or that's really not the so nice thing about being seen. Because there are many people that will disagree with what you share, but there will be people who will find you because they resonate with your voice. They understand what it is that you're talking about, and that for them is enough to heal and transform their life. So remember that the courage is not in anybody else to give you it. The courage is not in anybody telling you that you can. The courage is in you that the courage is when you wake up in the morning and tell yourself that you actually got everything it takes and you will find a way to make it work because you're beyond that. You're beyond the beliefs, you're beyond what your mind says you are. You're beyond any of that. So trust and know that that things that are meant to you will find you, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a career path. Maybe you're lost right now in life, but it's possible to overcome anything that you're going through. It's possible to overcome any limiting ideas, any hurt, any guilt. Maybe you're grieving right now. Maybe you're in a very painful, isolating place and you feel like no one's here to listen to you. Part of that is what really pushed um, what really connected me to my purpose is because I don't want anybody else to be isolated. I don't want anybody else to struggle with isolation and heal and go through things on their own, especially during COVID times. I never want that for anybody because I know what that felt like. I know what it's like to be isolated. I know what it's like to have everything done on your own, feeling not understood by anybody, feeling like you're hiding all the time, that you're not yourself, that you question yourself, question your existence. I don't want you to go through that anyways. And nobody on this earth can take away the pain or the part of you that is suffering. And no one should, because that's your own healing and that's your own journey to undergo. And if anyone tries to take that, I feel like um, it's not a healthy way. And it will be selfish of them to take it away because you're actually going to experience gifts from that. You're going to experience a tremendous amount of healing when you pass that suffering. But anyways, that's all I wanted to share. I know this is longer than I thought or longer than I just anticipated. But um, I will be sharing this board for any of you who wants to just go back to it and maybe do that exercise for yourself. Um, it's a really great way to understand and to have that awareness within yourself. If you do this exercise on a regular basis, or even just like twice a week could work as well. Um, I'll be sharing that maybe if you're wanting to. But anyways, I'll be signing off. And until next time on the next video, take care, everyone. I'm signing off now.